I mean, I guess that's the question for me is like, as Google's gotten so big, there's more to lose.
I think there's like this, I think there's a little bit of fearful. I mean, language models to begin with, like we invented them basically with a transformer paper that was, 6, 8 years ago, something like that. Noam, by the way, is back at Google now, which is awesome.
Congrats.
Yeah, we were too timid to deploy them. And, for a lot of good reasons, like whatever, some make mistakes, they say embarrassing things, whatever, And at the same time, like they're incredibly powerful and they can help you do things you never would have done. I just don't think this is the technology you want to just kind of keep close to the chest and hidden until it's like perfect.
So you've just heard Google co-founder Sergey Brin on the All In podcast, the conference, talking about what Google was doing wrong previously. Basically, they were scared of moving a little bit too fast. And he also talked about Noam Shazeer being back at Google. Now, you've probably seen this headline, right? Google paid $2.7 billion to rehire AI genius to co-lead Gemini. Last year, Google was in talks to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in character AI, but chose to bring him back. Shazeer is serving as technical lead on Gemini, Google's AI chatbot, joining the other co-leaders Jeff Dean and Oriol Vinyals. Apologies if I butchered that name. Gemini is the line of AI models being developed by DeepMind, Google's AI division, and which are being integrated into products such as Search and Pixel smartphones. Now, this is not the first time a big tech company has hired talent from another AI company or poached talent from another AI company. For example, we've had Microsoft do the exact same thing. They went to, Inflection, which, by the way, Mustafa Suleyman was also the DeepMind co-founder, and he joins Microsoft to lead Copilot. It's not the only one. Karen, a co-founder and chief scientist of Inflection, is a renowned AI researcher and thought leader who has led the development of some of the biggest AI breakthroughs over the past decade, including AlphaZero. She's also joining. Several members of the Inflection team have chosen to join Mustafa and Karen at Microsoft. They include some of the most accomplished AI engineers, researchers, and builders in the world. This is what happens when you're not allowed to acquire other companies because you're already so dominant. You just go poach the talent. Maybe if you're like Amazon, for example, you invest a couple of billions in Anthropic, and even that gets some scrutiny. But yeah, we're strange times. So if you cannot acquire a company, you go and poach that talent, and that will eventually destroy the company that they worked with previously. And so you've reached the same point where big tech continues to be stronger, but at the same time, you've just destroyed another small startup and probably lost some jobs. Instead, you could have allowed them to acquire these types of companies, which means you acquire the talent, the whole talent team as well. No, instead, you're now just getting the top guys. Now, moving back to this thing right here. Google paid $2.7 billion to rehire AI genius to co-lead Gemini. What's the deal behind that? What's character AI? Why is he coming back to Google? Why is he so important? Well, let's discuss that in this video. If you've used character AI previously, of course, you'll understand things a bit easier. If not, go to character AI and play around with it. Anyways, before continuing, if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe. If you have not, we really appreciate that. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment with the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. All right, so character AI, that was part of a very nascent AI chatbot craze when it debuted in 2021. 2021, a year before ChatGPT was launched. It was co-founded by former Google researcher Noam Shazeer, who became the company's CEO, and Daniel De Freitas, who was its president. The two co-authored the seminal research paper Attention is All You Need, which helped launch the Transformers architecture underpinning OpenAI's chatbot ChatGPT and other LLMs, which is what Sergey Brin talked about at the start of this video. Character AI's technology let users chat and roleplay with real-life or fictional characters from Queen Elizabeth to Draco Malfoy, or create customized AI companions. But Shazeer and De Freitas' goal was never just providing AI entertainment. In 2022, the company showed its ambition in a blog post asking, what if you could create your own AI? And it was always available to help you with anything. Then in an interview with Forbes last year, Shazeer said Character AI was betting that its new models would bring its technology closer to artificial general intelligence, or when AI can perform an important task at least as well as a human. Now remember, they debuted this thing a year before ChatGPT. It's very crucial for the conversation here. Now, this is basically the app. There is also a web version, and these are numbers from 2023, May 31, 2023. Interesting, the mobile app was also heightened by the popularity of the web experience that preceded it. Ahead of the app launch, the Character AI web app was topping 200 million visits per month, and users were spending on average 29 minutes per visit. That's crazy. A figure the company says eclipsed ChatGPT by 300%. I mean, in today's day and age, spending 29 minutes per visit on any website, any app is insane. Insane. Now, I did get some more information on the past 12 months. So website performance, the amount of visits there. And it seems like in the last couple of months, there has been an uptick. Now, over the last year, if we look at worldwide traffic compared to DeepAI, OpenAI.com, Notion.so, Hugging Face, I mean, Character AI is beating them by quite a lot. Moreover, on the AI technology, not just Character AI, but AI as general, he says, really, I think AI is underhyped because the things that are going to be possible in the coming years are going to be really, really impressive compared to what's possible now. That goes for Character AI's group chats too. In time, he said, the bots in the group chat will be able to respond to human messages automatically. In the future, a fictional AI character could just step in and say something that will bring you together with somebody. I think it's going to be a magical moment when that happens. Now, we've also heard Meta talk about that, talk about Avatar. You can create that in the Meta AI Studio. You're going to see this in WhatsApp, in Instagram, Messenger, etc., etc. So it's going to be, I think the 2030 things are going to be looking quite different and maybe amazing, maybe not, but this is just a start, in my opinion. Now, this was a business model created by Gennaro Cuafano. So on the one side here, we have a model from, an option, payment option from Character AI, how they monetize it. It's basically a subscription. You pay $9.99 per month, and you can skip the waiting rooms, faster response time, early access to new feature, Character AI plus community access, and a profile badge. That's one way of monetizing it, because when you're thinking about from a business perspective, by the way, it was worth $1 billion, because they were raising at that valuation $1 billion. Google paid $2.7 billion. Now, how do you make money? Well, this is basically the business model that this guy here created. So we've got revenue streams, as we've seen right here, subscription plan, enterprise solutions, API access. You then have the ecosystem distribution channel, integration with platforms, research collaborations, etc., etc. Now, we've seen this play out before. Great ideas, but you don't know how to monetize it, and then, it completely disappears. But with these types of things, the first thing I can think of is customer support, right? Imagine you go and talk to a customer support from a certain service, but instead of chatting with, Karen XYZ, you get to chat with, Goku, Queen Elizabeth, Taylor Swift, or whatever. Of course, you would still want your answers, but if your answers sound a little bit better, and by the way, you can talk to them just like on the phone, and the voice that you hear is a voice of a person that you love, I would think that the interaction would be much more pleasant. Of course, the end result should be the same, is that the problem has been solved. Now, reaching the point of explaining what the problem was, how come they left Google and how come Google paid so much to bring them back. So, De Freitas and Shazeer, a co-author of the seminal research paper on transformers that catalyzed the generative AI boom, met while working as AI engineers at Google, where together they developed an early large language model that would become the foundation for BART. But in 2021, they left the company because they said they'd run into bureaucratic roadblocks implementing the technology into consumer-facing applications. Imagine if Google had launched that Bard or Gemini, basically the ChatGPT equivalent, but 12 months before OpenAI launched ChatGPT. I think we would be having a completely different discussion about the future of Alphabet. And I also think that we would not be talking about ChatGPT OpenAI being a $100 billion company today. Missed opportunity. Now, Shazeer has been with Google pre-Google IPO. So yeah, he's been with the company for quite a long time. And despite all of that, despite also a personal plea from Sundar Pichai, he decided to leave the company. He said, he talked to me to see if he could encourage me to stay. But basically, I wanted to get this technology out to as many people as possible and just empower everyone with flexible AI. I think this was the right decision. Shazeer said the company would have needed to release the chatbot they were working on to a wide audience for him to consider staying. It just felt like Google was not going to be very comfortable launching something that could say anything, that you really had to be a startup to launch something like that. And I mean, even after refusing this, and even after waiting quite a long time to come out with their own solution after ChatGPT came out, Gemini, previously Bart, had still quite a lot of issues. But again, if you had launched in 2021 and you had issues in 2021, I think the world would have cared much less than today, because today you were already late to the party, so all eyes were on you. Back in 2021, nobody knew what this was. So this would have been regarded in my eyes as, okay, cool new feature, still early, and they'll probably make it much better 1 year, 2 years, 3 years further down the line, which I think is exactly what would have happened. But okay, again, this was the previous Google moving extremely slow and being afraid of making mistakes. Well, the problem with that, and the problem when you're Google and when you're so big, is that no matter what happens, all eyes will be on you. So it's better to be first to market and have a surprise than having to show up late and actually have a lot more pressure on you because you were already late and you have to show that, well, you're not an outdated company anymore. Now, what will happen now that he's back? Could Gemini suddenly surpass OpenAI just like that? I don't know. I think both of them are already pretty close compared one to the other, right? I personally use Gemini on a daily basis if I need a question and answer session. I still use Google search as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he's so important. If he's so important, and if he was the one that wanted to launch a Gemini ChatGPT equivalent a year before ChatGPT actually launched, then I think he is special, or that team is special, and I think that will benefit Google further down the line, because you need those risk takers. It's been quite a while. I mean, the market is still waiting, right, for Alphabet to answer the big question. What would be the next big thing for Alphabet other than, of course, Google Cloud? Because we know that the majority of their revenue comes from advertising, search, right? Now, there is cloud, as you can see right here. Cloud is growing quite fast. Now, imagine if it continues to grow by 20% per year until 2030. That would mean that they would generate $118.66 billion. And if we take the operating margin of AWS, which is 37%, that means that the operating income for cloud at Google will be $69.8 billion. Isn't that quite something? Now, of course, these are just my assumptions here. And if we look at today's operating income for Google on an annual basis, 2024 sits at over $101 billion. So by 2030, they could generate, 69% more just from Google Cloud. Now, will that happen? Remains to be seen, but it is the fastest growing cloud player today, faster than AWS and faster than Azure. Now, if you want to grow that fast, you are of course going to invest a lot of money. This is what we've seen with CapEx as well. It has increased in the last couple of quarters. Free cash flow has been up and down for Alphabet as well. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, this is just a big headline. Google paid $2.7 billion to rehire AI genius. Yeah, they paid so he can come back, and they also paid for a character AI. Will that change the company completely? I don't know, but I think it is the right move and the risk that they have to take. The risk that they have to take for being late to the party. So that's about it for me in this video. That's basically what you need to know about this whole saga. I'm still bullish on Google. I don't think they're going to go anywhere anytime soon. I still think that YouTube will become bigger and bigger. I think Google Cloud will become huge as well. And search, well, search is still the dominant player. Even 2 years after ChatGPT has come out, search dominance for Google has stayed around the same level. So there is that. Anyways, that's what I've got for you right now. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.